You are watching another live broadcast with the World Players of Handball on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. My name is Dave Vincent. Welcome to the WPH Race 4-8 alongside the Houston Handball Club and the World Players of Handball, presenting this third race stop in 3 years at the Houston Telespin Family YMCA. Houston's annual race stop has quickly become the players' and the fans' favorites. Charlie Shanks won that inaugural race stop in Houston in 2013. You might remember that. While Luis Moreno claimed his 9th race title on his 26th birthday in 2014. And now here in 2015, it promises really to be the most exciting race stop as Paul Brady, the #1 player on the tour, comes from Ireland, making this his 3rd consecutive stop of the season. And he's going up against likes of guys like Luis Moreno right there. You see him on the court, our current #2 ranked pro, and his biggest foe as of this date, David Fink, who will be on the show court in just a matter of minutes. Luis Moreno, formerly ranked #1. He has been #1 for many months. And then Paul Brady has come along and strategically found a way to get enough points to surpass Luis in the rankings, even though they have virtually the exact same record for the last fiscal year. And that puts Luis Moreno and Paul Brady at pretty much a statistical tie, although Brady has defeated Luis Moreno in consecutive stops. Therefore, he gets the #1 seed in this tournament. That puts Luis Moreno down at the bottom bracket, and he goes up against David Fink, both from Tucson, Arizona. In fact, the named 8 players in this Elite 8, 4 of them come from the Tucson Racket and Fitness Club in Tucson, Arizona. And both of those players, or 2 of those 4, are right here on this court. David Fink, originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, wearing the black shirt, and Luis Moreno wearing the white shirt here on the show court. Luis Moreno, the #2 seed. Dave Fink is trying to work off what has now become a chronic back injury where he feels fresh for a round, and then that back will tighten up and he's pretty much over, for a couple weeks where he can't play at all. So he's trying to work through some of those injuries, and Luis Moreno is trying to see if he can get his first race stop win of the year. Luis Moreno is tied with Brady, as we said, in the total ranking points, but enters Houston as the #2 player on the tour. Moreno will be surpassed by Brady no matter what happens in this tournament as the outright #1 player, regardless whether Moreno wins the tournament or not. That's due to the ranking points. Moreno and Brady are tied with 43 total points, but Brady defends 0 points here in Houston, while Moreno defends 10. Moreno has only lost to Irish-born players in the main draw of the last 7 race starts. 2 titles. Brady ×3. McCarthy, also from Ireland, 2 times. Moreno is also undefeated against all U.S.-born race pros except Alan Garner since the inception of the Race for 8 Tour in 2011. Alan Garner has defeated Moreno 3 times in race play in Tucson, the Los Angeles Athletic Club, and the Jake Plummer Handball Tournament a few years back. Moreno leads the Race for 8 with 9 overall race victories, 3 ahead of a very hard-charging Paul Brady. And then Dave Fink is looking for his very first race finals. He's made it to a few semifinals, but he's trying to get off the schneid, and it seems like he really gets placed up against Luis Moreno a lot, and that's just the way it goes. Want to welcome in Anthony Celesto.
Thank you, Dave.
Was our #1 seed in the qualifier. Anthony, you've been in the broadcast booth multiple times, and I want to welcome you in on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app as the players warm up for this match. And the only reason why they weren't ready to play right at 10 a.m. Central Time is the fact that there was that exciting Luis Cordova, Abraham Montijo match that was on the show court here, as those guys are vying for that 9th place trophy. And so I believe Cordova won that match, but I mean, big crowds already here at the Family YMCA.
Huge crowds. Been packed since 8.
Now we're all trying to get these guys situated. Our referee will be Memo Polaris from Texas. You're watching the live coverage on ESPN, the Watch ESPN app. courtesy of the World Players of Handball. We have literally thousands of people all around the country watching this feed. We appreciate that. I mean, it's always nice to hear from those that are watching.
Absolutely. I just want to thank everyone for being a part of the Players Association. I want to thank everyone for watching and supporting us. It's the only way we can keep this sport growing and going. So thank you very much for helping out with that.
There's a lot of sponsors, a lot of donors, a lot of people making this happen. The Houston Handball Club. Ron Cole, who will be inducted into the Hall of Fame down here in Texas later on this evening. I want to thank those that support the World Players of Handball, ESPN, and those behind the scenes at the Watch ESPN app, plus Linda Manning, Chris Garrad, Jeff Kastner, Matt Titano, who looks a lot like Bruno Mars, Dave Fink, and others. Speaking of Dave Fink, you know, he played his best handball of this race career at the WPH R48-3 Houston in January of 2014. In my opinion, that was his tournament last year where he defeated Martin Mulkerens, who was the national finalist that year, and then Robbie McCarthy en route to the semifinals. You know, he struggled with that back injury since that time in Houston. Played pretty inspired handball on his home court in Tucson, reaching his first semifinal in 10 months before losing to Brady.
It's phenomenal play. Yesterday he played very good handball as well, actually defeating myself. But the first game he absolutely rolled me 15-3, but everything was flat. He said he felt great, and he hopes he can keep that going in the match today.
I want to say hello to my daughter celebrating her 15th birthday today.
Wow.
Her name is Anna. Anna
Happy
Paola.
birthday.
Yeah, you know who she is. I think you've seen her before, but she's watching the app mobilely right now. Anthony, she's actually on her smart device, and Mom is taking her to a special birthday breakfast this morning.
Nice.
And then they have a celebration, you know, for today and then tomorrow. But she's watching in the car driving, which isn't recommended. But so that's what's happening right now. Anyway, we want to say happy birthday to Anna.
Happy birthday from the World Players of Handball.
And ESPN. As we get ready to get this match underway, they had 10 minutes and we're about the 7-minute mark. What is Dave Fink going to have to do here to defeat Luis Moreno? Because he is the underdog, obviously the lower seed. Luis Moreno, formerly #1, currently tied at #1 with Paul Brady, the #2 seed in this tournament. Dave Fink's going to have to do something.
Yeah, what he's going to have to do, Dave, is really he's going to have to do the first serve, kill. When he serves the ball, if he has a great opportunity to kill the ball, he's going to have to against Luis, because if you get in a rally with Luis, he's able to keep you off balance with every shot. And if Dave can avoid that by first serve, kill, that's pretty much the only way you're really going to beat Luis, because he's as athletic as anyone else, and he'll run down balls that Dave will. And hopefully Dave can stay healthy. His back holds up for him. So,
well, Dave's got this serve and shoot game. He's a first striker. He likes to have a great serve that will set up a first strike. And he's very confident first striking with his offhand, which a lot of players will try to serve to a certain portion of the court knowing that they'll hit it to their strong hand.
Right.
You know, in Dave Fink's case, that would be serving to the right side and hoping they would hit it to his left so he can step in. But he doesn't care. He actually has a better fly kill with his right hand, and he'll actually jump in there and try to exploit you on either side of the court with his strong serve. It's a power serve to the right, to the left. Do you find that frustrating as a player that you throw it back in there and then he immediately tacks a corner somewhere?
It is frustrating because he actually sets himself up very well with it. He'll serve 3 or 4 down the left-hand side, a nice natural, and sometimes he'll throw a reverse in there to try to catch the wall, but a nice natural, and then he will throw that reverse down the right when you're leaning left, and that would give you that weak return, so he's able to shoot it right or left. But he's deadly with his left in the left corner for sure.
And because of that, he scores points in numbers, and he does them really quick. Sometimes
streaks.
A player that has never played Fink before could find that the match will end in a matter of 15 minutes.
It could. Yeah, yesterday when we played, our first game was, I think, just under 12 minutes. I mean, he went in and got me off balance, and I was giving it back to his weak or good hand, and he was just killing it. So if he can do that, it's going to be a totally different game.
Now, Luis Moreno also has a great serve, but he doesn't mind engaging into long rallies, and it's it's almost as if they're a lot alike in the sense that they will both first strike you, but Luis Moreno has such a great serve that he will engage in rallies and give you many opportunities in those rallies, but yet he's still ranked number 1 or number 2 on the tour.
Yeah,
How does that happen?
It's tough to play Luis because, like I was saying earlier, he has so much power on his balls. He keeps you so off balance that on his serves, if you're not ready for the reverse of the hook, you're off balance, you get a weak return, and he's so deadly with that first strike, and he just keeps you off balance. And Luis is a different player. I mean, he really relies on his serve, and that's a big part of his game. So if he can keep that going, it's going to be a struggle for Dave, I think.
About ready for the announcements here on the show court as Memo Polaris gets the players situated with the official
unless you want it.
Official rules that they have here. It's best 2 out of 3 to 15, win by 2. Tiebreaker also 15. How do you like that format?
I love it.
You like the 15s?
Yeah, because if you go 1 game to 25 and you get down 15-3 like I was yesterday, you really have to work extra hard to get back into it, whereas you can kind of let yourself
Tucson,
go.
Arizona, we have Dave Fink.
Let that first game go and then get back into game 2.
From Tucson, Arizona, we have Luis Moreno. Good luck, guys.
Dave Fink serving here to start it off. This is the men's quarterfinals in Houston, Texas on ESPN, and we are underway.
Side out. 0, serve 0. Short.
Very quick side out with a
Second
miss
serve.
hit from Fink, and now second serve. Luis Moreno steps in. Overhand lob to Dave. I don't always feel that's the best serve against Dave.
No, I agree.
Point.
If you can keep it low and real down low against Dave, I think that's his weakest point with his right hand, especially if you're catching the sidewall on the serve.
Point.
Right there was an example.
That's the sweet spot.
2, serve 0.
I'm not so certain that an overhand lob to his right is effective, but Luis has already scored 2 quick points.
Side out.
Referee just waiting a little extra time
0,
there,
serves 2.
thinking that Luis is going to ask for a screen. It wasn't given.
That's where Dave has to put the ball away against Luis if he has an opportunity like that. So you can see Luis is deadly up front. So
for those watching handball for the very first time, you might not realize it,
2,
but that little
0.
sidearm fist shot that Luis just did was absolutely perfect. And there's not a lot of players that can do that.
Oh, no.
Straightens out, hits it with power.
3,
Dave
serve
didn't even
0.
go for it. He already knew instantly that was
Short.
that was over with.
Luis out to a quick lead, 3-0.
Second serve.
He keeps going back to the overhand serve.
Well,
we'll see how effective it can be throughout the game.
That was a miss hit.
Side out. 0, serve
How often
3.
do these two play back home?
Once a week.
Once a week?
Yeah. There's so many options in Tucson, Arizona that these guys are playing a whole bunch of different players.
Point.
Dave Fink is able to play an Abraham Montijo or a Danny Perez or a Sean Lenny.
1, serves 3.
And so is Moreno. And, you know, we can't really criticize Moreno for doing an overhand serve to Dave's right because they play so much that he's obviously learned something.
Absolutely. And that's always an advantage if you're playing someone, you know their game a little bit more. So these matches could actually take a little bit longer than a normal match, or it could be the other way around and end pretty quickly. A level of being comfortable. I don't know what you would exactly call it, but
point.
You see Luis with the fist pump.
Kind of surprised to see that fist pump.
4, serves 1.
Early.
Wow, that's a huge overhit and a long ball. There will be a second serve here.
And Dave, we've implemented the new rule as the review, with the review on the, if you're a server and the ref calls it short, you can review with the booth. And I believe we've had 2 overturned calls already with the review. Is that right? Or
it's not just the short calls, but yeah, we've had a lot of overturns.
Hold it, contact.
In fact,
You're right, Luis.
If you're going to compare it to the NFL season,
think we're doing better than them.
Well, we can review it quicker than the NFL.
Replay. 1 serves 4.
They take a couple minutes. We can do it in about 15 seconds.
Point.
So I don't know what all that different camera angle stuff and get the lawyers to all
2
agree.
serves 4.
We don't have all that, but
No, it's literally you find out very quickly.
Skip ball. Oh, my fault. That was good. That was good.
I was going to say that looked good from here, and that's what Dave wants right
Well,
there.
the referee heard the sound. And
2 serves 4.
This court,
3. My bad. 3 serves 4. That was a point.
this referee's now starting to implode, but the sound of the
Side out.
courts here. And see, just something like that with the ref, getting out of cadence,
Oh, yeah, can throw
that
him
gets
off.
into the player's head just enough that it
4
throws them out
serves
of
3.
rhythm. Now they're concerned about the score, and
Everything else, yeah.
most people say, well, how can a player be so fragile? Well, it's just human nature.
You're absolutely right. And that you saw that a lot, actually, in yesterday's match. I know in the qualifier with
Set out.
Dave Munson and Adam Bernhardt. That one bad call by the ref at 21-20 or 21-19, and it just
3 serves
flip
4.
of the page, and Adam ended up pulling away and winning. But very good battle there.
That was fun, actually. Almost some contact, no call from
Point.
the ref. Now another point. Fink ties it at 4.
But that's a good no call there. Dave wants that shot as Luis pushes out to the
4
right.
serves
Dave
4.
wants that left corner.
That was not a great shot from Fink.
Set out.
And he is really missing a lot of these underhand paddles and swing and misses. And
Shots that he normally makes.
4 serves
Yeah.
4.
And with all that said, we're tied at 4.
Saw good.
That fist pump
Point.
is interesting.
5
Yeah,
serves 4.
sometimes you do that, though, as a player. You do that to intimidate the other player a little bit. And
Or
if
to
there's-
sell the line judges.
or to sell the line judges.
That's skip.
That's why I'm surprised to see Luis do it, because first of all, he's not emotional like that. Secondly, it's
4
usually a
serves
red
5.
flag.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, now we
Free
all
ball.
know that he's selling something because, first of all, he doesn't normally do it. This is a round of 8 match.
Now, what
4
are your
serves
thoughts
5.
on that? That ball comes real close to his body, but if it's a back wall setup, do you call the screen,
Yeah, it's
or
one of
do
those,
you
it's a tweener. I
let him go and take the shot?
I say you should still let them take it off the back wall
Set
if
out.
they have it. But, you know, the referee has to make that decision quickly.
5 serves 4.
Best 2 out of 3 to 15. Breaker also 15. Win by 2.
Point.
See, that to me is a screen.
I agree.
And another fist pump from Luis, who, you know, obviously he knows that it's on the cusp of
6
being
serves
called a
4.
screen, but he persuades the ref. Dave's not complaining, though.
I think Dave was actually leaning to the right, which is why he didn't call it a screen ball.
Point.
Thought Fink would call a timeout here after tying the score at 4. Now loses 3 quick points. And we were talking about
7 serves 4.
quick Dave plays, but when Luis gets into a rhythm, he could also close out a match in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think last year we set there was a record time in one of his
Point.
matches. I think it was 12 minutes for the whole match. But like you said, it can be a game of runs. He gets on a hot serve, and
8
the
serves
game
4.
can
Yeah,
change like that. So
12 minutes for a match. Or as Paul Brady calls that, Tuesday.
Point.
It has to be a timeout here, right?
30-second timeout. That's your last 30 seconds.
Now, you would say to yourself, why
Last
would a player
score is 9
take a
serves 4.
30-second timeout? And first of all, if you are a handball player watching, you go, what? 30-second timeout? But that's a new little twist that is part of the Race for 8 tour. The players get this 30-second, and mainly you do it not to catch your breath. This is a momentum breaker.
exactly.
And for those
20
that were
seconds.
talking about the referee making a bad call and breaking momentum by, you know, getting out of the cadence. Now remember, Dave was tied with Luis at 4-4. The referee
10
got him out of a
seconds.
cadence that he was in where he was
All right,
scoring
resuming
points
play.
and feeling good. And now he's lost
Scores.
5 consecutive points since the referee messed
Score
up.
is 9
Dave
serves
is calling
4.
a 30-second timeout to try to do what the ref did to him. Back to Luis.
Luis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. It's smart handball.
He's just trying to break Luis's rhythm here to try to get him out of scoring. It's like having a black lab in the backyard that brings the ball to you all the time obsessively. You finally have to go snap your hands together, snap your fingers, and they drop it, and
Drop
they're
it.
like, oh, okay.
10 serves 4.
You know.
Good analogy. I like that.
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a terrible shot from Luis, and then
On
Dave
Ball. Point.
hit the very worst thing he can possibly hit there. And Luis gets another point.
Luis seems to be playing very
11
relaxed
serves
here.
4. I saw it good.
See another fist bump.
Appeal. Guys, Dave is challenging the call. I called it good.
Okay, let's go to the broadcast van, if we can, to see that serve in super slow-mo or frame to frame. That's going to be a very difficult one to catch here.
Absolutely. Well, when Luis hits it so hard, when a player hits it so hard,
Yeah,
it's
this is
hard
going to be
see.
tough because it hits a side wall. If we can slow it down right there at impact. Looks short on that first look, but I wouldn't. Go back again. And stop it. Yeah, that's short. Right? Let's go back. Go back. Yeah, down. Impact on the ground is short and just over the line.
Short ball.
The call is short.
It is a short ball.
Dave, you retain your challenge.
Now,
It's a good challenge.
what I
It's,
find
11
frustrating
serves,
here
4
is
second
that,
serve.
and that call came from New York, by the way, on that call, but what I find frustrating is the players want line judges.
Side out.
Line judges should be making those calls, not video replay. You're wasting your video replay on something
4
that
serves 11.
should be done by a line
Lines
judge.
judge. I agree.
And why we don't have one is just,
That's the ref. You got to blame the ref on that one. But
I mean, it's not mandatory, but, you know, this is an important match.
well, now if Dave were to lose that,
Well, Dave knew it was
Challenge.
short, so he wasn't going to lose it. But
if he were to lose it, then he loses a timeout, correct?
Point.
no, he just loses his challenge.
Okay.
Now he still has a challenge.
And you get one per game.
Yeah, one per game, and you lose it.
5 serves
You
11.
lose it.
Lose it. Luis shooting the ball.
Side out.
I think Luis's left hand's more dangerous from that position than his right would be, and he's right-handed
11
from the
serves
same
5.
position.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he hits it. That's what makes Luis so challenging to play, because he can put junk on the ball from shoulder height anywhere.
Point.
And just from here, it's such a weird shot angle.
Yeah.
But he can do that. It's very ambidextrous and good wrist.
12 serves
wrist
5.
snaps.
There's a nice little wrinkle.
Point.
It's a good shot.
13 serves 5.
2 points away from closing this one
Short.
out.
Second serve. Skip. Side out.
Wow. Weak return by Dave there, and Luis floors it right in the middle.
5 serves 13.
Wow, that's so
Side out.
absolutely amazing. If we had the ability to see a replay, we would. But I'm not sure any camera that we have would even catch what he did back there.
13 serves 5.
37 feet.
I'm not
flat
asking for a
corner
replay,
kill.
but just knowing that it's a little bit out of the camera view.
Side out.
Fink back in here. But since the referee messed up his cadence, Dave
5
Fink
serves
has
13.
been outscored 8-1, 9-1. Wow.
Point.
Like, here you go. Dave could go on a little run here and be right back in this game.
6 serves 13. Point.
Nice shot from Fink. Now 7-13. It's game number 1, best 2 out of 3 to 15.
Timeout,
This
Luis.
is the quarterfinals, and a smart timeout from
Score is
Luis
7
Moreno.
serves 13.
Dave Fink
60
scoring
seconds.
3 straight points here. Luis knows that he wants to break that momentum back. There's Art Howe sitting in the
Hall of
upper
Famer.
row there. Well, he should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure. He's in somebody's Hall of Fame, but Art, you know, from the inspiration of Moneyball, Oakland A's head coach in baseball. Also, longtime Houston Astro. Very popular here. And
A little interesting fact. He was actually the gentleman to recruit Derek Jeter and told the Houston Astros that they should sign him, and they didn't sign him, and he left the organization.
wow.
Said the best high school baseball player
Ready?
you will ever see play.
Resuming play. Score is 7
Just an
serves
ESPN.
13.
Magazine reading. There's
Okay.
that reverse down the right.
Skip. Side out.
Boy, Dave just barely missing those kill shots up front.
He had his setup too. He had the shot he wanted. And that's where you have to capitalize
13,
against
serving
Luis.
7.
If you have a shot, you got to make it when you have it. So.
Point.
He's just keeping him so off balance with the power and movement on the ball.
Dave Fink's now talking to himself, and I don't blame him because some
Possible
of those shots
game point, serve 7.
are not ungettable.
No.
But Luis does put so much weird spin on everything. And there it
That's
is. Game number 1 is now put away. Luis
You have
Moreno
3
takes it
minutes.
15 to
Luis will
7.
be serving next game.
And there will be a 3-minute break. We're going to take one here for Anthony Celesto. My name is Dave Vincent. Thank you for tuning in, watching handball on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. We'll be back in just a bit here on ESPN.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
In 1905, Thomas Beverly Pennock settled out west to start a family construction business. Over 100 years and 5 generations later, T.B. Pennock & Sons continues on today. From our world-class concrete at the San Diego airport to our recovery efforts in New York after Hurricane Sandy, we take pride in what we build, and we will never forget who we build for. We are T.B. Pennock & Sons.
Back in Houston, Family YMCA on ESPN, the Watch ESPN app. My name is Dave Vincent alongside Anthony Celesto. Game number 2 between Luis Moreno and David Fink coming up next. You saw the score of the first game there, 15-7. Moreno takes him. Dave and Luis, Anthony, were tied at 4. And then Moreno just went on this little run, mixture of great shots, but also some of Dave Fink's uncharacteristic errors on open setups.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say. If there's going to be anything that has to change in this match, it's just going to have to be the easy setups that Dave gets. I don't know if they're necessarily easy, but the setups he gets, he's got to put them away against Luis.
No,
so
certainly you have to execute, but Luis does put so much on the ball that's not seen on camera.
contact there, but letting him play through it.
Point.
Another fist pump. That's fist pump number 4.
1, serve 0. Side out.
Luis got what he wanted.
Luis doesn't do an underhand paddle shot there. He goes with an underhand,
serve
soft, methodical fist shot, which has 0 control. But for some reason, Luis loves it.
He fists the ball more. Him and Shorty Ruiz fist the ball an awful lot.
And Sean Lenning, too.
Yeah, Sean Lenning, too.
Point.
But with the fist, you don't have a lot of control, but especially when you hit a soft one. The whole purpose is to hit a fist, is to hit
Hard,
to make
junk.
Yeah.
Keeps you off. Yeah, because you never know what the ball with the fist is going to do.
Point. Side out.
But Moreno does a soft little kind of thing that he does, and I've played against him. I know that it's a weapon. I mean, it really is an amazing shot.
He's living up front.
I figure that Dave did not like that screen that happened midway back.
He's appealing the serve.
No,
Two,
I
serve
think he
1.
said it was a screen on the serve.
Oh,
Now, you and I, without consulting on this, saw about
Side out.
3 screen
Screens.
serves in that first game that were not called, and that last one wasn't as bad as those other ones.
no, but sometimes if the
serve
player
2.
gets a weak return and it was close enough where he
Short ball.
thinks it, and then he's going to say something to the ref just to keep the ref on their
Second
toes.
serve.
Just keep his eyes open for it. So we'll see. We'll see how many screens the ref calls here on out.
Side out.
So frustrating.
Well, you heard Dave say it himself. Too many errors. To beat
Two,
Luis,
serve
you
1.
got to limit those.
Well, you can't give him any free shots, and I mean, he's so creative out there.
It was down. I gave him the shot.
That's a good call from the ref, though, because Dave was actually in his way and then got out of his way by
I saw it
backing,
down.
going behind him. And Luis put the ball back in front of him, which is a good shot, I thought, and it was down.
Okay.
I like the way the ref
I saw
just
it down.
handled that.
Okay.
He said, okay.
3, serves 1.
Interesting diffusal of that argument from the ref.
We'll see how Dave comes
Point.
back from this. Because like last game, we saw a change of events. The ref made a bad call, and that was the end
4,
of it.
serves 1. Screen ball.
That's a good call. See, now, since Dave threw that into the ref's mind, he's calling him.
Toe.
And that's just as bad as some of the serves that we saw in the first game. You're watching the Race for 8 Houston stop number 3 on ESPN, the Watch ESPN app, courtesy of the World Players of Handball, online at WPHlive.tv. Abraham Montijo on the right side. On your left of the screen is Eric Torres from San Francisco, California. Abraham
Yep.
from Tucson,
That was
Arizona.
Screen, 2 serves, 4 serves
And
1.
there's the freak in the background.
Sean Lenning. He will be on this court after this match alongside Mondo Ortiz. That's actually,
Last
that's already
serve.
circled on my scorecard. Wow,
Point.
that ball just straightens out, and another fist pump from Moreno.
He's obviously doing what he
5,
wants
serves
with the
1.
ball if he's fist pumping after every shot. So there's that fist again, Dave.
Yeah, well, that one hit a little bit harder, but that soft fist is almost a redundancy. Look at Luis able to slide in there. Fink mishits it. Luis doesn't know what's going on.
Well, I didn't really see where I thought Dave hit the front wall, but apparently
6
not.
serves 1.
See, if Luis were to shoot that left corner every time, he's actually bringing it back to the middle of the court where Dave is sitting. If he just
Point.
shoots that left corner, it's over. But
Luis has this knack of hitting a ball deep, and it hits a side wall and
7
just
serves
rides
1.
out. I mean, you're already lunging to get to it, but then it hits a sidewall and goes further away from you. And you see Dave just reaching for all of those shots. And now Luis looks like he's unbeatable.
I don't know if Dave took himself out of the match by complaining, but the way it's going, it kind of seems that way.
Well, Luis has played lights out since, and that should be an avoidable or something. Luis not trying to get out of the way at all. Referee's going to replay it.
8 serves 1.
No arguing from Fink at all.
Which is rare.
Point.
That's a great serve. Luis hits that crack on the right side. Now 9-1, game number 2.
9 serves 1.
Excuse me, 9-1, game 2. Thought I said 9-2, but I think I did say game 2.
Game 2, yeah.
Point.
Wow.
The voices in my brain are actually about
Talking
7
for
seconds behind right now.
10
I
serves
forgot
1.
what I
It's okay.
said 7 seconds ago.
The
I'm
hard
repeating
work.
myself.
Hard work is getting to you.
Burned out before the first match started.
Wow.
And another just little left-handed poke from Luis Moreno. You and I play Dave Fink, and it's a huge mountain to climb.
11.
Moreno
Absolutely.
plays Fink, and he just makes it look like it's easy at
Cutting
this
through
point.
butter. It's a broken ball.
That had a nice snap to it, too. I mean,
Very nice.
that'll be on eBay in about 15 minutes. We have all those fans that'll be bidding on that.
Marco Chavez said he was the first bidder, actually. $50 for the ball.
Well, these are quite popular on tour. Players will autograph them, and it'll go in somebody's collection.
You know, that is the great thing, actually, here at the Houston YMCA. A lot of fans are asking the top players for autographs, which is very cool to see.
Now Luis doesn't like the way this ball bounces, but I think it's more of the floor. I think they're going to replace it again. You just never know. This floor is not exactly solid, and the player drops the ball and sees that it has a little slight wrinkle to it. Yeah.
Continue play. 11 serves
And
1.
we're talking about a ball here that's just a few grams, and a player will know instantly. You pro players
Absolutely.
will know instantly, but for some reason Tom Brady couldn't tell if there was 2 pounds of air taken out of a football. But these guys know the second they pick up this ball, whether it's
Lopsided or
lopsided or
12 serves
there's something
1.
wrong with the weight.
We can't really do the deflate
I mean,
gate
the
here 'cause
greatest
these
quarterback
balls
of all
don't-
time can't tell. I mean,
Point.
But the top players can tell in
I
handball.
mean, the
if
NBA were
ball's
trying
off.
to change the
13
shirts
serves
that the
1.
players were wearing last year to those real cool looking kind of real tight shirts.
Tight shirts, yeah.
LeBron James' shooting percentage went way down, and he blamed it on the shirt. But Brady can't tell 2 pounds.
mental.
Makes sense. Dave Fink now in the box here. 1-13, game number 2.
You know what I like, Dave? I heard Luis
serves
yelling at
13.
himself, telling him to go get that ball, and that just shows what kind of competitor Luis is, knowing that he's up 13-1, but he doesn't want to give Dave any more points in this. So it's pretty cool to see that even winning like that, he's still trying to compete at the highest level. So
No, and it's also really frustrating when you're down 1-13 and your
absolutely
opponents,
13 serves 1.
doing that
whether
to
it's
himself.
directly or indirectly, playing a mind game with
I
you.
saw it good.
God, that was a great serve. And another fist pump number 7. Moreno has more fist pumps than Dave Fink has
14
scored
serves
points in
1.
this match. Fist pump 7, Dave Fink 6. Another
guys.
underhanded
Wow.
paddle, and there goes the match as Luis now advances to the semifinals here in Houston, Texas by the score of 15-1.
He made that look pretty easy, Dave. If those serves continue, he's going to be a tough cookie to beat.
We are going to have another game coming up right around the corner. We're going to take a break, though, here in the booth because we're going to get ready for Sean Lenning and Armando Ortiz. And they're going to warm up now and come, right at you here on the ESPN Watch ESPN app in about 20 minutes. Certainly we'll come in a little bit early to talk about that matchup and what each opponent will have to do to each other in order to win. And we'll do that in just a bit. For Anthony Celesto and those helping with this live broadcast to include Chris Garrad, who's back in the mobile unit in the Oregon, Washington area of the United States, helping out. Linda Manning, who is manning the the director's booth in the broadcast van. Want to thank her, as well as Bruno Mars, Matt Titano. Did I say that right? Titano, excuse me. And then we
Bruno
have
Titano.
yeah, and then we have Dave Fink and all the others, Jeff Kastner, that have helped out with this broadcast as well. So we want to say thanks to them. Omar Lemus, the Houston Handball Club, World Players of Handball, streaming on ESPN, the Watch ESPN app, WPHLive.tv, and all of the supporters that have helped us get this broadcast on. We're going to be back in just a bit. For Anthony, my name is Dave. Stick with us here on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app.